Hello, you lovely people. How the devil are you? This is, and welcome to the Opie-Verse Episode 22. We're almost a half a year into this, which is ridiculously scary, but it is life. We have a fantastic guest with us tonight. I'm very interested to, and I'm very much looking forward to having that conversation, but you know, we've got a bit of business to do before we get into it. First of all, greeting you lovely people, and starting off with the man himself, Mr. Si O'Connor. Some might say tonight wouldn't have happened without you, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Hello, Ultron. Hey, Sith Studs. Hello, everybody else, if you are there. God, there's a lot of people. Hey, James. Hello, Lego Studios. Sorry, I've took my glasses off, so I'm proper blind at the minute. Hey, Sasha. Or hey, Mark. How's it going? Hey, Joe. How's it going? A lot of energy, a lot of noise in the chat tonight. That's how we like it. 9 people in the stream so far. So first and foremost, before we get in and hit that like button, your job's done. You know you've hit the like, and you can sit back, relax, focus on the comments as and when you want to pipe up, which is always welcome. Secondly, housekeeping. TikTok, we're PG. Here, I don't know what the American rating is, like let's say a PG-13. For us, like, I don't know, 15, whatever. Anyway, all I'm saying is TikTok is more kind of child-friendly. Here, it's just a couple of adults having a conversation. Who knows where that'll go, but it just sometimes means that the conversation topics can be a little bit more mature. That's all I'm saying. Who knows where it goes? I've not had an instant where I would necessarily say it's gone too far, but you can be the judge of that. But all I'm saying is that's it. It's just a couple of adults having a conversation. Sometimes it could be up there. Who knows? But however, I had some adults on in the past who have, and I'm seeing no names, who've had the mentality of a 13-year-old. So, you know, it's all relevant. It's all relevant. One thing I will say though, this banner here is very important. The reason for that is the book of Boba Fett. The reason it's especially important is because our guest tonight is actively watching the book of Boba Fett. How do I know that? Because they're actively making sets about the book of Boba Fett each episode. And that's going to be a big talking point. So when we talk about the book of Boba Fett, this will come up. If you don't want to know about it, just put us on mute. And then when we stop talking about it, I'll take this off, and you know. But that's important. But that's about it. That's all you really need to know. Before I bring our guest in, though, I'll just talk about my week very briefly. Not a lot. I didn't do a live stream this week. I've been really busy with work, but no, like that's quite boring. What did happen though is I wore my wife's TikTok leggings on a video, taking the piss basically out of some of the female TikTokers who've been flaunting the goods, promoting their Amazon wishlist. I did a parody of it, and then a Venom set head turned up, a Millennium Falcon microfighter turned up, and then a brick-built mug has turned up, which is really nice actually for me and a cup of tea. So yeah, I just want to see, you guys know who you are, and some of you claim them, but just in case you don't want a public, I'll just say it again. Thank you very much for that. It's all a big running joke, and I certainly didn't expect that, but it is very, very much appreciated. And I will look to do a live stream, probably with the Venom head, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm thinking Wednesday of that week. So that's looking ahead, but we're not going to look too far ahead because we've got to focus on tonight. The rated R rating, rated R superstar. There you go. Hey, Spawn. Spawn is in the house. Hey, Spawn. Hey, Si. Si is very active in the chat. I know Si is very keen to have our guest that night. But anyway, without further ado, I'm rambling now. Without further ado, I give you my guest tonight. I would say predominantly Lego YouTuber, but certainly Lego Instagrammer, and recently became a Lego TikToker, Lego Danibob.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Happy to be on tonight.
How are you? How is you're the the last person I'm going to ask this to because it's the last stream of January. So, how is your day? How is your week? How is your month? And how is your 2022 so far going?
Ooh. Okay, we'll start with the easy one. The day. My day's going great. It's a Sunday, midday afternoon, and weekends have been fantastic so far this year. I was pretty sick, as some of you guys know, at the end of last year, and so I feel like kicking off 2022 has been like with a new mindset of wanting to do things just really consistently and staying healthy and taking care of myself. And in the process, I've been having I don't know how I could have more fun, but I've been having even more fun up here in this space in the Lego room, making videos and content and such. So yeah, like today is just one day of the many days that I've gotten to spend up here so far this year that have been pretty awesome. This week, we worked on a couple of things, like the nieces and nephews were over. We worked on a couple of city sets. I got a couple of new sets that I got on the little hall in the corner over there. We put together this bad boy. I don't know my left and my right on stream last night. So we got that ATTE finished up, and that's looking pretty sweet. So
that's the Rebels Rex one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's got the crazy landing pad that doubles as a pool party. So yeah, I had to do a little reorganizing up here as well to fit some of these larger sets that I've had in the backlog that I want to build lately. So as you can see, I finally got, I don't know which side is it. It's over here. I got a spot for the sand crawler. I guess it makes sense. It's physically on that side of the room, so I should point over there.
It is the absolute trouble of every live stream, Lego stream, on whichever platform, you never know what side something is on.
Behind me. But yeah, so I finally got some space over there. It was previously occupying Diagon Alley for a few days, and some of the witches and wizards were starting to get a little upset by it. So I figured it's time to reorganize, move some stuff around. So that's what this week has looked like. And yeah, 2022 is like set for a pretty fun year so far. Some of you guys know that I'm going on a trip next week. I'm leaving tomorrow for a work trip, but we also get to do a little snowboarding. So I'm pretty excited about that. And
sweet.
Yeah, it's just like I said, rolling into this new year, just we got a lot of fun things planned already, and just nothing better than that. Just always having fun.
Nice.
And kicking kids off of the snowy cliff, right? Had some more fun in the snow yesterday too.
I mean that's one way of putting it, I'm sure, but yeah, it's I've been skiing in a long time, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. Snowboarding is better. I did enjoy snowboarding more. Yeah, it's I think you just look cooler. Like you feel cooler being a snowboarder.
Yeah, I always feel cooler on a board than anything else, whether it was skateboarding versus roller skating or wakeboarding versus water skiing. Yeah, I've always felt cooler on a board.
I think there is potentially a title here for the coolest Lego creator. Like I've not seen anybody who puts like extreme sports together with Lego. It's almost like that. It's a bit of an oxymoron. Like the two shouldn't ever exist in the same person. But
I get that.
You are the epitome of, and we always say this, but you are the epitome of anybody can be a Lego collector. Like literally everyone. So yeah,
totally.
Nice.
It's so true.
Indeed.
It's cool seeing like different kind of high profile people, kind of celebrity people too, talk about their Lego collections, because that kind of reinforces that same idea. Anybody can be a Lego collector.
And this is true. And I find out kind of more and more. Now, obviously, you're stateside. So the people I know are British collectors and builders who you probably wouldn't know about. But it was Cy that told me that. There's a guy called Johnny Vegas who's like very well known in the UK. But then David Beckham is a big one as well. So I'm sure you know David Beckham. So he's like mad into Lego. But who do you know? Who are the celebrities that stand out for you who are Lego collectors?
Oh man, put me on the spot trying to remember some celebrities' names. Side note, I'm terrible with celebrity names. But no, there's is it Rodney? Is the Colts kicker that M&R always hangs out with? He was just not too long ago. So that was one person that came to mind just thinking about that, like higher profile people. And no, there was a basketball player recently that I saw who really enjoys building Lego, and he's got his own collection.
Ellen DeGeneres. Didn't know that one.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that, and no, I was a little turned off to that because when the quarantine stuff had first happened, she got an architecture set and she posted on Instagram, and she ripped open all the bags and dumped them out all on the table, and I'm just like, no. So I was like, no, Ellen's not a real collector. She doesn't know how to do it. No, I'm just kidding. She could do whatever she wants.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the controversy seems to have came with Alan over lockdown and all that, but less said about that, the better. But yeah,
Yeah,
that for
whatever.
me is pretty controversial. But okay, so Ming-Na Wen likes Lego as
Does
well.
she?
I mean,
Okay. Well,
she's like
another reason for me
possibly
to
one
love
of the
her.
exactly like just this woman does nothing wrong. She is John Barrowman too. Okay, so Torchwood. Okay, Ed Sheeran. Yeah, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna move on from that because otherwise we're just going to spend an hour and a half talking about all the celebrities that love Lego. But
Point made.
what
Point made.
point made indeed. Point made indeed. But yes, is there another one coming there? Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, I feel like Daniel Radcliffe would absolutely love it. He's definitely one of us in that respect. Where does your love come from for Lego? Like,
Yeah.
where did it? Is it always been there, or like a lot of people, has it kind of come back recently?
Mm. Yeah, I grew up playing Lego with my older siblings. So I've got a pretty big family. I have 3 older siblings and 2 younger siblings. So there's 6 of us. And I'm right in the middle. I'm the 4th kid. And there's like a big age gap between me and my older and younger sister. But some of my happiest childhood memories are we were just like had this little toy room. It was really more of like a little area where mom had all the books on the shelves and stuff
Mhm.
and filing cabinets, but it was like the smallest room in the house. We had a big bin of Lego, and we would just always have it dumped out into the middle of the floor. And all 3 of us, like sitting Indian style in this tiny room, would be digging through the pile of Lego while my mom would be reading a book. And so some of my happiest childhood memories are just
Yeah.
like playing and digging through the Lego pile and trying to like build something with my older siblings. So my brother, it's funny because he would always build like Jeeps, really cool stuff. Like he had the engineering mindset and he liked cars. And so he'd always build these cool Jeeps. And then my sister would always build these really cool houses. And she would have all the storytelling behind it of why the house was really cool or it had a pool. And it would just like get my imagination going. And I would always like try to combine, like, how can I build something different? Because when you have a lot of
Mhm.
siblings, you always try to be different. So I ended up, building like kind of mixed matched things that were kind of like moving houses and spaceships and this different kind of take on it. But yeah, I think that's what really brought the nostalgia of like remembering all of those fun
Mhm.
times playing. And then throughout the years, like when I was 12, 13, 14, I did have a little bit of money. I was really motivated to figure out a way to make money so that I could buy certain things that I wanted, like a PlayStation and PlayStation 2, that is. I'm not that old. I didn't have a PlayStation. It was PlayStation 2.
Is
And
that I mean, is that a dig? I don't know. Is that a dig? I don't
it
know.
might be a little bit of an inside joke with Cy O'Connor.
All right. Okay.
Everybody
Yeah.
wanted to
Okay.
know how old I was, so I'm just giving the cues of my generation. And so the PS2 was a big deal, and
Mhm.
the themes that were out right when I was 13, there was like 2 good themes, and then just a couple of not so great themes. So I was really into the Avatar. I had like the Fire Nation ship. I had the Air Temple, and Exoforce was also a theme at that time, which for some reason I went all out on. And I was like hoping that would be the next Avatar. Like I was hoping they were going to make a Lego show about it. Never happened. Never happened. So I ended up having like all 3 seasons of all these Exoforce Legos. And when I was like 14, I got really into selling stuff on eBay because for some reason I wanted to just liquidate everything that I had that was worth anything. So I'd have a pile of
Yeah.
cash so I could do something with it. I don't know. I'm going to need it. I need to save it or something. So I ended up selling all of my Lego. Bionicle was the other thing. I'm not a Bionicle kid by the stereotype, but I was really interested in the like the storytelling of it and
Mhm.
the legends. There was movies about it. So I think that's what drew me to it. And you could get a canister for $8. So it was definitely more affordable. So yeah, I had those things. I sold everything. I think it ended up being like almost $1,000. And for a 14-year-old, like that was a big deal. So from like 14 to age 20, you get more involved in school and sports. I didn't like do anything with Lego, But my little brother, who's 11 years younger than me, would get Lego sets for Christmas every year. And they just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I'd always just have this little bit of jealousy. Just, wow, that's so cool. I want to build it too. And it wasn't until, more recently, I would, be coming home for like Christmas and stuff, that we built like the Minecraft mountain together a couple years back. And I actually took a time lapse of it. I had the idea, how cool would it be if we did videos on these big Lego sets and put it on YouTube? And then 3 years later, here I am actually finally getting to do that with my own sets, not my little brother's. So that's kind of the full story, the full circle. It's always been there, but was reawakened in this time of the world slowing down. So
yeah, I think that kind of initial point that you made about tapping into kind of what made you happy, like what that nostalgia, and I think when you speak to a lot of people who came back to Lego in that last couple of years, that's what it is. Like they needed something that they knew would kind of challenge them a little bit, occupy their mind, but also like that escapism. And when they looked at, what made them happy, everybody had that connection of like, look, when I was a kid, I just had a bucket of Lego and I would just build stuff. And I build stuff on my own, or I build stuff with siblings. Like for me, I build stuff with my dad. So yeah, it's the best. It is the absolute best, as Lego will tell you as well, because their sales are doing pretty all right. So yeah. So at what point then did you kind of, once you've refound your love of Lego, and then you've done the video of the time lapse, and time lapse is always brilliant. At what point did you then think, okay, I'll pick up a camera more often and let's start making some content? Where did you get started?
I think with anything, there's always an interest that starts earlier on before you really take action on it. And you talked about the extreme sport aspect a little bit with the wakeboarding, snowboarding. I was always super into those types of extreme activities. And so I got a GoPro pretty early on, and I thought that maybe I could be a YouTuber for more of that kind of content with the GoPros and, your backyard fun. But I just felt like it wasn't sustainable. Like we did that once in a while, but it wasn't something I could crank out like new videos every week or every month. And I was also a bit younger and inexperienced with editing. But that did get me started on figuring out how to use some editing software. I think that's so important because the technology side definitely holds you back as a creator and as someone who's creative, because you've got the idea here, but you got to get it into physical format and translate it into the virtual format for other people to see. So it's a difficult thing to get started on, which is why I'm pretty thankful that I did have that interest and, messed around with GoPro cameras and basic video editing software in the past. So I think pretty much once I started getting into all the Star Wars content that I'd kind of missed out on for the last few years, connecting that with Lego, I was like, I do kind of like collecting things. And then I started watching M&R Productions a lot. Like I started watching all of his review videos because I was like, all right, what sets do I want to get? And it just kind of got me thinking, you know what? Even though I'm an adult, like there's an audience for this. There's a community for this.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to be a part of it. So it was like pretty set that I was going to do this. It wasn't like, oh, let me just put a video out and see what happens, because you're going to get 5 views and that's not going to be the motivation you need to keep you going. So I just used my phone because I knew that I needed to figure things out before I actually invested into a camera, and it's like $600, so it's kind of a significant investment. And my first couple videos, I wanted to have fun with it, mix the elements that I took from the GoPro shots where you're really like showing something cool and epic. Like how can you make Lego look cool and epic, right? A lot of times it's portrayed in this more juvenile way. And recently, like the Lego photography, the Lego videos, and the lighting and stuff, it looks so epic. And it was cool to see those two paths cross with this extreme sports GoPro element and this like fun, humorous Lego element come together. And so I felt like, okay, that's the kind of video content that I want to make. So probably like a couple months in, I got this camera and I've just been having fun ever since.
And how long ago was that then?
Well, it's been since April of last year. So
okay,
9-10 months.
That's impressive indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been
Uh,
fun.
it's interesting when you see about starting with the extreme sports stuff, and that was,
Mhm.
but you were almost led by wanting to be a creator, and then it was like, well, what can I create about? So I do
Yeah.
this, but actually doesn't fit. But then actually Lego did come along, and then I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this fits, and then your passion comes through for it, and it gives you that energy to do so. That really resonates
Yeah.
for me, because when I first picked up my phone and start doing like TikTok stuff, I I was introduced to TikTok first as just a viewer, and I was like, I kind of want to make stuff, but I don't know what I want to make. So at the time, there was the whole like questions for British people, like where Americans would come on and say like ask, and then like people would respond. So I did a couple of those videos, and but I did them because other people were doing them, and I was like, well, I can answer the questions, and I'll do that. And then I took a big break, and whilst I built up my Lego collection, then all of a sudden I found myself on Lego TikTok and like watching people, and thought, well, actually, I've got something to contribute here. And then just didn't look back, just made one video sparked a bit of views, some
Yeah.
comments, some
Mhm.
questions, and then that was it. And away it went. So, but it all come from that passion and energy, really. So that really resonates with me. Is like, you want to do something, but it's really important that you do it about something that you can really get behind yourself, and
Yep.
you've got that passion and energy for. So yeah, nice. When did you because what you're on, about 2.5, is it 2,500 subs you're on YouTube
On
now,
YouTube. Yeah.
and then you're pushing 9,000 followers on Instagram. So
Yeah.
did Instagram come afterwards?
Yeah, it did, yeah. It's crazy because I think I started my Instagram, sometime in the summer. Um, I know it was at least 2 or 3 months after the YouTube, because I was trying to get started on the channel and just focus on one thing. But
Mhm.
then, I also wanted a chance to be able to kind of, promote the content that was going on YouTube, and I
Yeah.
saw a lot of other people doing that as well. But then as I was using Instagram a little bit more, I didn't want it to just become a platform for promoting YouTube content. I wanted to actually provide value. And so, with the whole TikTok Reels and YouTube Shorts battle, I was like very, very anti TikTok, and I just really wanted to like not use I wanted to crush TikTok. And so I saw people talking about success with Instagram Reels, and
Mhm.
it's funny because ever since Snapchat, we've been doing this exact same thing where you put the music or the emojis and whatever it is, and you take a short, stupid video, but you only send it to your friends. Same idea, but now you send it to whoever the heck sees it. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. Basically, like, doing the stupid stuff you do on Snapchat, but now you're just putting it out there for the public. And they eat that stuff up. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous how many views the reels get. And I think it does have like kind of a plateau. I'm not really sure if that's correlated with your overall following, but like, so many of these stupid short videos, and then the trending thing, the audio, it's too easy. So I feel like the Instagram success isn't is like weight. It doesn't carry as much weight as like YouTube
Okay.
in my mind. So I use that as like, okay, this is a way to get out there, and it's a place for me to post like these
Mhm.
nicer photos and do the reels, get the followers, and then see if I can still end up like pretty much taking them to the channel for the full content and stuff. So that's kind of how I see it.
And that's a good way of seeing it, because I agree with everything you've said there. That, and spoke with Sai a couple of weeks ago about this, and when I was on his stream, I think it was last year now, talking about like the difference between TikTok and shorts and YouTube and stuff, and saying like, shorts and YouTube, long content, and then like reels and Instagram are very
Mhm.
similar in exactly what you say. People see the short or they see the reel, they're quick to follow, but they don't kind of invest in your longer form content or your
Mhm.
alternative content.
Yep.
But that's quite a generalistic thing to say. So, if you didn't post that reel or post that short, you wouldn't get any of those followers. None of
No.
those people would see you and they wouldn't follow you. But even if, like, let's say like 3% of them then think, well, actually, do you know what? I've seen a couple of her shorts. They're really funny.
Mhm.
They're really good. They're really informative. They're right up my street, and I've seen she just dropped this video. I'll I'll watch it. That
Mhm.
is a success, and that's 3% more than you would have got.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
it's just bringing it all up. But yeah, it is a strange old concept.
Well, it's cool because you just think about what your behavior is on the internet and multiply that. It's like, okay, if I watch someone's reel and I see it come up, I see their face come up multiple times, and I think it's funny, I'm gonna hit the follow button. And then if something piques my interest, I'm gonna go to their profile. Who is this? What do they do? Like, what is this content? And then, yeah, it's like I see that working on me for these other content creators. So I just find that it's so much of observation, and then you just take it in and then apply it to what you're doing. And it kind of works.
So I don't work that way. Interestingly, like me as a content creator and how the methods I use to kind of sucker people in, for one word of it,
Yeah.
and to get them to follow is very different to what would work on me to make me follow.
Interesting. Okay.
So as kind of to the point before we went live, and you were saying like you enjoy talking about yourself, like I'm all about that. So like I am the ultimate, and I say this quite openly, I am like the ultimate narcissist. So like this all exists because it's a platform for me to speak. So when then people play to that and kind of like they make content, especially on TikTok, where people like make content and they're like, so I love a stop motion. I absolutely love stop motions. And there are people I follow because they've made stop motions of me using Lego characters. And I'm like, yeah, I want to watch that. Like, I want to watch me in Lego and I want to see your interpretation of me. And it absolutely comes from a position of narcissism, but I'm fully happy and content with that's what it is. And I recognize that, and it is what it is. For me, now TikTok is a very different beast, and it's weird because nobody ever really figures it out. But
Right.
sometimes TikTok wants you to follow people, but then as soon as you follow them, it stops showing you them because it doesn't show you who you follow half of the time. So I on purposely don't follow people who I'm seeing a lot of. I like and interact with their content, but I don't follow them because I don't want to stop seeing them.
I did not know that happens because I don't use TikTok too much because I'm mostly flipping through Reels and YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. If you follow somebody, you don't see their content as often.
Yeah, I know there's so actually my guest next week, he has an actual technical issue whereby when he does follow someone, it physically, like, he never sees them. So
No way.
he doesn't follow me, but I see him like and interact on one of my videos because he sees them. But he's actively said he's had to start unfollowing people because he can't see them. Like, they just don't come on. But I think that his case, from what I understand, is more of a technical issue. Like, that is
Yeah.
an error. But generally, depending on who it is, TikTok has an agenda, but nobody really knows what that agenda is. Well, other than for them to make money, and they keep changing the game. Everybody's got different features. Everybody's got different tools available to them. And kind of, I want what they've got, and people want what I've got. And they're kind of trying to figure out exactly what they do. But yeah, it's a weird old game. But you did, so to your point, you really fought the TikTok bug.
Yeah.
But then you did start creating content in October last year. What made you bite the bullet?
You're like, you did this on October 30th of 2021. You hypocrite. Yeah, so I was probably watching like 2 to 3 hours worth of educational content on short form platforms to find out what the heck. Like, what's the future of YouTube Shorts versus Reels versus TikTok? What are people using them for? How does the content differ? I was just very into the psychology aspect of, like, people are spending like an hour of their time every day on one of these platforms. Like, every day. Like, what the
Yeah.
average user time was over 35 minutes, 40 minutes. And at that time, I wanted to do a test, and I was actually, I think I was doing this in December a bit too. So maybe I created the account in October, and then in December I did the test where I posted my my daily advent calendar openings because it was something really super easy to make. It was something that was appropriate for putting on both of those platforms. Well, I actually did on YouTube Shorts. I kept it off of Reels specifically because so many people are doing it on Reels, and I was very annoyed by it. I was like, okay, what's the next day? Oh, I saw it. Shoot, now it's not a surprise. Now I have to act surprised. So I was putting on Shorts, So people would click on it if they wanted to see it for the most part, because I don't know. I usually click on people's shorts as opposed to scrolling through it so much.
Yeah.
More on that later. But I just want to see like what the view difference was. What would happen? So I know with YouTube Shorts, your video is more dependent upon your following base, and unless you get put on the short shelf, you're not really going to like take off on
Yeah.
in an audience group wider than the audience group that a video would get posted to.
Mhm.
So I was expecting like around the 200 to 500 mark for YouTube Shorts would be a success, and I had no idea what would happen on TikTok. My first video got like 21K views, and I'm like, what the heck? I got like 1,000 followers in 3 days. And for the next like 8 days, I posted on TikTok, and then they got like less than 1,000 views, dwindling, maybe like 500 views. And I gained maybe like another 200 followers over the course of that week. So I was like, is TikTok messing with my mind to try to get me addicted to use this platform? And I was like, I'm on to you. I am not falling for this trap. And really the outcome of that was YouTube short videos. Some of them got like over 1,000 views because like the title was some stupid thing like, oh, it's
Yeah.
Spider-Man tutor scooter or something like, and people click on it. I'm like, that's okay. That's because of the title. I know I click on stuff like that too. So ultimately I felt like, yeah, if I was actually going to post stuff on TikTok, I need to take the time to actually make the content that's appropriate for TikTok.
That's
And
interesting, right? Because with TikTok,
yeah,
I think it's less effort than the others.
it could be.
I did a video yesterday where I sat here, I took this lightsaber and I put it on ×3 speed and I spun round in my chair for 24 seconds. So it became an 8-second video. I put a picture of the Luke, like the Red 5 and the Mandalorian helmet, and then my thoughts on it. And it's done 300,000 views.
I mean, I did a similar thing on Reels, and it has 125K views where I took my Boba Fett helmet, I spun around in my chair, and I did the Face ID pating with Boba Fett. It's just that it takes like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, then they start to take off.
So when you were saying about the advent calendar thing, that's the issue, isn't it? Where with TikTok and with shorts, they're almost in like a smaller bubble. And yes, and certainly with TikTok, they can keep to be pushed. I think at the minute things tend to push for around 3 months and they'll peak and trough through that. But yeah, with Reels, it feels like they have that initial push for like the first 24 hours where they get to whoever they get to. But then after that, it's like a week to 10 days later. And then that's when they really start picking up. So I don't think the advent calendar stuff really works there, because typically people will have seen day one. They're watching day one.
Right.
And it's like the 15th of December. And you're like,
exactly.
okay.
I noticed that too. A lot of holiday stuff coming out, even still like end of January. That's now getting pushed, and it's kind of tricky to do the timely things.
Yeah,
but you're saying TikTok is more timely because it'll get pushed sooner.
I would see so. Anything that kind of pushes after that is because it did well initially. So kind of like you then, I think from a creator's mindset, you would then think, okay, well, it had its moment in the sun. It's still getting pushed now, and that's fine, but like it at least it had its day in the sun when it was kind of meant to have its day in the sun. Where with Reels, it feels like it'll never have that because it takes 2 weeks to get that push, and at that point it becomes irrelevant. It's like trying to do a review of the Book of Boba Fett and putting it on Reels, and then it's kind of you'd be watching episode 3 now, like, well, this is a bit late. So it's a very different concept. But I tell you what is an interesting thing to do. If you do find a kind of a non-timely video that you want to make, so let's just say you picked up a set, like your ATT there. If you wanted to make like a short form review video of that, post it on all 3 at exactly the same time, and you would get totally different results.
Yeah.
The same people interact the same video on different platforms. They're almost led by the platform. It's weird.
And well, that's kind of what I was saying though, with posting things that are specific for the TikTok platform. Not that they'd have to be higher effort videos, but things that are going to do well on the platform. Because I notice a lot less stuff getting recycled on Reels, because you'd always have the TikTok watermark. And I find that Reels is like so repetitive And I know everything's curated to what you like and don't like and stuff, but like the stuff that I like is very narrow. I don't get a whole lot of variety. So within like 15 minutes, you'll get what are the trending audios and what are the, trends, what are people doing that you could do your own take on. And so I find that portion of it, I like already know. So if I was going to go make a reel right now, I could probably post a reel in 15 minutes. And that's where like the low effort part comes in, because it's just that easy. Whereas like TikTok, to be able to grab some of the audios or to see like what people are doing that would kind of fit the time. It's like how much time you spend on the app, I feel also influences what kind of content you create for it as well. Because I notice a lot more original stuff on Shorts, and I like the original stuff, like people doing skits and stuff. I feel like it does really well on YouTube Shorts. It also does good on TikTok.
Yeah, it does. It does do well on TikTok. It's to be honest, I think everybody has their platform. I don't watch a lot of reels. I never watch shorts. Like TikTok is my platform of choice, and everything is steered by that. To your point around, you don't see a lot of recycled stuff. There are still people who do that, absolutely. But the big tip out there is you screen record. So before you post, if you're making it in TikTok,
no watermark.
Record. Or there's actually a bit of a hack whereby once you've posted it on TikTok, you save the video. So you can say like, save this video to my device. But as it's kind of the downloading bar comes on the bottom and it counts in percentage, whilst it's downloading, you leave the app, but you don't close the app. So you just like push it to the background, then you go back into the app, let it finish downloading, and it doesn't put the watermark on. So it's not meant to do that. It's just a hack,
Oh
so
my gosh.
And it gives you it in like clean HD. Also, though, what I would say is I think a lot of people use CapCut now, which is actually, I think it's owned by TikTok, but a lot of people produce their videos in CapCut, and then it gives them again a clean video to post out wherever they want. So
hacks.
But yeah, it's a strange old beast, that's for sure. So where are you at with TikTok right now then?
I haven't really used it for a while. I'm still thinking. We're on speaking terms, but like we don't really text that often, just once in a while, like, check the messages and stuff. That's pretty much it.
The one thing I would say about TikTok is it wants you to go live. Like the whole TikTok thing is they want money off donations. So they take their cut. So they want you live, and they even push you to sell stuff through your live. Like you can add products to your live and people can buy directly through TikTok. It's crazy. So they want you live. So what I would say is if you're starting to if you get to a point where you start to kind of get the energy for TikTok again, plan a live. Like people love a live build, and you can it's so easy to collaborate with other people who are also live. You can you think about like this, I have to send you a link, you have to join and all of that. And then whereas on TikTok, it's so easy to just go like co-host live, boom, you're live, I'm live, there you go. You can do guest requests, you can do 4 on a screen now. It's super. That's the beauty of TikTok. It's just so easy. It suckers you in.
Are you selling me a product right now?
Honestly,
through YouTube?
I'm so brainwashed. It's but yeah, it's just. And do you know, I spent a lot last year trying to move away from TikTok. I was like, I really want to build YouTube presence, and then Instagram. I really wanted to hit that 10K on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then, annoyingly, I hit it because I wanted the link in story feature. And then a week later, they gave it to everyone anyway.
A lot of stuff became more accessible, like the communities tab.
Yes.
On YouTube's. Yeah, that takes away a little bit of that reward. It's no longer like a reward. It's just comes with it. It's just a natural feature.
Exactly. So the only thing really to aspire to now for me is the obviously monetization on YouTube, but it's just like 4,000 hours just feels a hell of a slog right now. So switch back to TikTok, doing 3 videos a day, and I've like added 10,000 followers in January. So like,
dang,
that's what I mean. 3 videos a day.
It's addictive though, isn't it?
Yeah.
you're trying to get the clicks, you're trying to get the views, and then you see the growth. You're like, ooh,
This is what I
it's
mean, though.
fun,
You
but it's
just
yeah.
you do a highly produced, thought out video, and it'll do
Mhm.
bang average views, and then you sit
Yep.
in your chair and spin around for 20 seconds,
I
and that'll
know.
do. So, but yeah, definitely, I would say that. Obviously, I totally feel how you're feeling in that it's so difficult to go after all three, and you kind of almost have to pick a lane and go after it. It is really tough.
Yeah. Well, if I
Um,
just quit my job, then I'd have way more time to do
well,
this stuff.
this is it, isn't it? This is absolutely it. But yeah, if you do go after TikTok, I would see a great um a great way to do it is to plan a live build
Gotcha.
into your plan and schedule, because you'd be surprised if you go live for like 2 to 3 hours and just build and chat and collaborate with some people. You can come off that live, and this is where TikTok is even cleverer. Is cleverer a word? I don't know. When you go live, it pushes your videos. So obviously they want you to go live because it gives you more
Oh,
views, and sometimes you'll come off a live and you've like gained 1,000 followers
what
because
the
it's
heck?
pushed one of your videos. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's the absolute hustle.
Mm,
But if you understand the hustle, you can benefit from it. So
I see.
yeah,
Oh, what a game. That's fun. I
indeed.
mean, I was actually thinking, okay, just throwing a fourth platform in here even was Twitch, because I do a little bit of Star Wars gaming, and I gotta love me a good Jedi Fallen Order. So I did a gaming playthrough on Twitch, and I noticed a lot of people doing builds over there as well.
Mhm.
And I kind of had the idea of like, okay, what if I do like rebrickable mocks and things that are not
Yeah,
Lego sets on a different platform, to kind of keep the YouTube like maybe Lego purist or something. That was a thought that I had. And yeah, even the concept of like going live and using all the time that I would otherwise use to do a live on YouTube to do it anywhere else, like Twitch, for example, was like, yeah, that's like a whole 2 hours that is getting dedicated to another platform. So it really is
yeah,
just the the juggling act of multiple platforms.
it is. And I did the same. So I didn't do Lego on Twitch, but I did have a Twitch. I got up to Twitch affiliate.
Nice.
Um, it was kind of all right. But at the same time, like you were making money, but you weren't making enough money to withdraw that money. So like it was a bit of a hustle in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had exactly the same thing. I was spreading myself too thin that no
Hmm.
singular platform was benefiting. So that's when I made the decision to switch over to YouTube, ditch Twitch, and then yeah. But then what Twitch has some brilliant features though. So, and we were talking about this beforehand, which would be great on TikTok, is the raid feature, because when you're done on your live,
Right.
because you're done, other people are not done. So you can kind of say, let's go there together. And it just keeps
Yeah.
that energy going. But I don't think it'll be long before TikTok gets that feature.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, it's really interesting to think like what's going to happen in the future, but yeah, like what things are going to continue to grow and gain features, because
Mhm.
ultimately it's always like a money game for these companies, and they want what other companies have so that more people will use their platform. So yeah, I'm super into like the psychology of just human behavior, of like how people
Yeah.
interact with this stuff, because we never had social media in this way, and to interact, growing up. And so I think like if I were a kid right now, having access to endless amounts of scrolling content, oh my gosh, my brain would be rotten. So yeah, I
It's
try to
funny
keep the
because
kids
my
off of it as much as possible. So
yeah,
that's why I bring them up here.
my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, she like made a big we saw her about a week ago, and she'd made a big deal about how she's quit TikTok. And
Oh
so she's
yeah.
like, I've quit. I've been sat. I spend too much time in there. I've quit TikTok. I've deleted the app. And then their other sister just kind of said, yeah, but you just sit on Reels now. So like
Yeah, right.
you've just replaced one problem with another. So yeah,
Oh
it's just
gosh.
there's no getting away from it. But never mind. Never mind. Let me ask, the ATTE, how was it to
Mm.
build?
It was quite fun. So I got that set used from one of the T-Falls that is on some of my streams sometimes. So I have a little T-Fall group here with my younger brother, my nephew, and our two friends. And he actually sold this one to me. I pointed in the right direction. I'm so proud of myself. Um, and he had everything color sorted, which was really helpful. I actually do well with things that are color sorted. And yeah, I just kind of built it pretty slowly on stream over the course of 2 streams. And the set itself is fun because there's like this little panel on the inside with the worm from the episode. And I had to go back and rewatch the episode of Rebels and just remember like what was that whole encounter, because I mentioned earlier, like when I was getting back into all the Star Wars content that I'd kind of missed out on in the 2015, 2020 era. I hadn't seen Rebels or Clone Wars. And so a couple years ago, me and my brother like watched everything. And as they're reintroducing Rex, we watched Rebels first and we're like, who's Rex? So by the time we get through Clone Wars, we're like, whoa, that's actually really cool. They brought Rex back and they're old, and Gregor and Wolf. And yeah, just took me back to watching those episodes. So the set itself is basically just an ATT. So if you were to replace the top paneling and that rusty old leg, you'd have yourself a $300 set for probably closer to like $175, $200 used if you buy it used. I do actually tend to buy some of these retired sets used, because if you're gonna build it, why open a sealed box? So you just
all right. So I tend to agree with you on this, right?
But it depends what it is, but go ahead.
It totally depends on the set, but
yeah, it does.
I bought my UCS Sandcrawler used, and the person, it's kind of like he did the worst thing where he had it complete and built, and he partially disassembled it. So it's like, take it apart and sort it, or leave it and I'll do it. Like, because you can't really figure out how it's all come apart, because the way the panels are, this part down here on this panel is actually in build stage 10, but the rest of the panel is in build stage 80. So you just got to like break it all down, but it's 95% reddish brown and the other rest is Technics. So yeah, that was painful, but it is my pride and joy for sure.
Well, I thought you were going to say that some of the pieces broke.
Do you know, I got so lucky with that, because that is the worst color for that. Yeah, I got so lucky. I don't know how, considering it had been pulled apart once. I then had to split things out and then rebuild it. Yeah, I got so lucky.
Dang, because I had purchased the 2008 gunship, partially disassembled, right? And I was planning to take the whole thing apart, wash pieces, put it together, because I got it for pretty cheap. It also came with a bunch of clones and stuff, so I was like, okay.
Is that the Jedi Bob one?
Is that that's the 2002. Yeah, the one in the middle.
Yeah.
The one that comes with Cody, P1 Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one, I had a couple of the maroon pieces chip on me, but fortunately I had some replacements, so just pop those on. But that's definitely a concern too, buying used sets that are that old, at least.
Well, it could be worse. I mean, if anybody follows me, I have a Death Star that I've been rebuilding since September 2020. And I hate it. I hate the thing. It's awful. It's the 10188, so the original kind of play scale one. Absolutely hate it. Like, I'm ready to sell it now, and it's awful. Hate it.
Wait, why is it so bad? If you don't mind going down this traumatic road.
So I bought it used as a bit of a haul and got it home, and the base level was glued together. But so I thought, oh shit, like it's the whole thing, but it wasn't. But it was caked in dust. It had been in like a garage for.
Why'd you buy this?
Because it came as part of a haul, like a really big haul, and I sold 80% of the figures off and made money just from selling the figures.
Gotcha.
So it was worthwhile in that respect. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, then I thought, okay, it's a bit of it'll be a bit of a labor of love, and I'll get to the point where it'll be this thing, and I have it, and I've built it, and I've kind of refurbished it. So I bricklinked the whole base part, replaced it, and then kind of start building up. But yeah, it's just the whole thing is grey. Like the whole thing is, there's 3,000 grey pieces. So when you're trying to build that, and you've got 3,000 grey pieces on a table, all somewhat sorted out, it's just painful. If you want to know, go onto my channel, go onto my live builds, and you will
Okay.
see that I tried to build it, and it was just, the whole thing was a disaster.
Oh
It was
gosh.
so yeah. I hate the
Takes me
thing.
back to the Betrayal at Cloud City set that I got. I reference this sometimes when I am having a traumatic experience while building because it was a used set. It wasn't glued or anything, but it was just missing certain pieces. And I thought that it was all parted out by bag. And some of the figures were the wrong figures. And yeah, I know what you mean. Just like that whole, like, okay, this will be a labor of love, but then it ends up just like kind of haunting you a little bit.
Yeah.
And especially if you're not finished building it either, that's like 10 times more. Just is it really a labor of love, or is it just labor at this point?
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, it just gets in the way. It's awful. Hate the thing, but yeah, but it's a Death Star at the same time, so I don't want to get rid of it.
I know what you mean,
but I need to get rid of it. But yeah, never mind. What are your let's not talk about bad Lego experiences. What are your good experiences? And what are your, because I'm looking, like, obviously you've got a fantastic collection going on behind you. Do you have I mean, I love, one of my favorites is the previous The Mandalorian Starfighter, which I thought is a hell of a set. But yeah, how much of that is your collection? Is there more that we can't see? Is that what you've got? Or?
Yeah, there's a bit more. So all my UCS sets are actually down in my room because they are too large for the shelves here, and I don't want to take up all of the bench space because it's currently filled with a bunch of parts as I've been like building mocks and stuff. So my goal is to just have Star Wars up here. Right now, all of this over here is consumed by all the Harry Potter sets, Diagon Alley, the Chamber of Secrets, and all the new sets that came out. I just thought they were really well done, and Harry Potter's probably like, my top 3. Star Wars being the first. And I think like sometimes ideas in Harry Potter kind of get tied because like the NASA Space Discovery Shuttle is like an amazing set, and the Blacksmith and so on and so forth. So the goal is to actually just have Star Wars up here eventually. And in the next 6 months, we should be actually seeing the fruit of all of this planning and ideation as we're expanding to the lower level here. But yeah, the UCS sets are downstairs. So I've got the A-Wing, the Gunship, the Star Destroyer, AT-AT, Millennium Falcon, Slave One, and then the 2 Master Builder series sets. Those are all downstairs. So they're kind of like my home decor, if you will. Because they're just too nice, like sometimes. So like Brixie, for example, has one of the biggest Lego rooms with all of his shelves just chock full of Lego. Sometimes when such large sets are just there among all of the other PlayScale sets, you almost like can't really get to fully enjoy them and see them. So me having my UCS Millennium Falcon on a coffee table, I feel like really adds value to the room. So I love having them down there. As for this collection, a couple of the X-Wings and Walkers were actually my brother's. Like I mentioned, he was getting a bunch for Christmas over the years. And when I came home, so a bit of a backstory, like I was working in New York a few years ago, and then all of the pandemic and stuff brought me back to Indiana here with my family. So he had like a couple things on these shelves already. And was like, oh, we should, get sets from this era or from these movies. And it started to like pile up. So I'd say like 85% of everything on these shelves is my actual collection. This is funny enough. These are actually the things that I built right here. These aren't even sets. I was like, hey, they look kind of pretty on the shelf. Let me put them here. And then, a few things are my younger brother's. I also have a shelf that goes along this wall as well.
Yeah.
And then the Titanic is also down in my room too. I moved that. I'm like, this is too big of a set to be just up here on the shelf here where nobody comes up here because it's like too high up or something. It's on the 3rd floor. So I was like, all right, this is my room. People can see it and be like, wow, you're a nerd.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So proud.
I mean, this for me is I work from home. I work in banking. I worked from home a lot before the pandemic. But then when everybody else started working from home, my methodology or my mindset was, well, I'm going to have the best backdrop when we're on Zoom or Teams or whatever. So, and what's interesting is, and I don't know if you found this, like when you've kind of taken the leap and you put it out there, like, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I collect. People kind of like the next time you speak to them, especially when it's been like a couple of weeks or a month, I picked this up, or like, oh, I've got this now, and like the amount of
Yes.
people that are
You,
comfortable then. So yeah,
you know
it's
what?
amazing.
I've totally experienced that at work too. When I told my colleagues that I was like, I started a YouTube channel and, I don't even have 100 subscribers yet. And they all like subscribed to my channel. And I was like, oh, okay, like I'm doing this. And since then, like I have become the Lego danibob. People know me as the person that's into Lego, or even other people at work that I don't work directly with on my team are like, hey, I saw your Lego YouTube channel. I was like, oh my gosh, really? That's kind of funny. And I find others that are really interested in talking about Lego. And I think that's so cool because, yeah, when you become kind of a representative of whatever brand it is that you enjoy, yeah, people like to connect with you about that. They know that you're knowledgeable about it, and they're like drawn to be able to share their experience with it. So it's really cool.
It is. And Journal of the Scots, you're definitely right. However, what I would say is I think the pandemic helped expedite it. But I think what
Mm-hmm.
also happened is as well, there was like all of that Marvel content as well. And obviously like the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, and like
Yep.
certainly for Star Wars fans, like there was something new to look forward to, the season 7 of the Clone Wars. So like we all just kind of came out of the closet again as like
Yeah.
there were things to come out of the closet for to kind of watch and talk about. And then the pandemic kind of made us think, well, and this was my thing, is like my wife is not like, she watches Marvel stuff, but she's not like, she doesn't love the Easter eggs when I'm like, oh my god, do you know who that is? And she's like, I don't really care.
Right.
Like it's just a
Right.
good film. She doesn't watch Star Wars. You're probably sitting there thinking like, why are you even married to this woman? But like, chalk and cheese and all that. But yeah, I think, a lot of my friends were the same. I've probably only, of my main friends group, one of them really enjoys Marvel stuff, but none of them enjoy Star Wars. But then a lot of that group were at work. I would talk to a lot of, like, you would find those people working in a big organization. You find those people who are like Star Wars and Marvel fans and have all of that. You then go to work from home and you lose the ability to talk to those people about them things. And did you see this? Did you see that? In that kind of casual way. So hence I'm here. So yeah, this all exists basically for you to listen to my rants about things. Our rants.
I see. That all makes sense now. I got some insight into the Opie-Verse and how the Opie-Verse has, it's almost like, replacing the the casual conversations. You get to like actually hone in on it and talk specifically about the people, and the people who really want to hear it too. It's even better than real life. It's the Opie-Verse.
Exactly. And the whole, I mean, the Opie-Verse was just, I had so many, like, as we said earlier, like channels across different things, talked about so many things. And it is very much that. It's the coming together of all of those different kind of realities in all of that. And we just basically, as you know, it's led by the guest and what they are, have very different conversations with different people and kind of what they have in. But yeah, Lego Masters is really popular. I think they cancelled it. Sile, no, I think they cancelled the UK one. Is that right?
Oh, did they?
I think so. But yeah, Lego Masters itself is pretty successful. Would you go on that?
Yeah, I was considering it. I need to have legitimate mock building skills to further consider it. But the show aspect and the challenge and competition aspect, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I could do this. And then I'm like, okay, do I actually have the ability to build something that large? No, I've never done that before. Okay, I should probably do that first. But yeah, I was talking to some other people that consider going on the show or maybe being recruited. And they really encouraged me to like really seriously consider it. And so that definitely got me thinking about it more. So I would definitely go for it. But I know what skills I need to work on first. And I think I might be dabbling into that a little bit recently. And it's getting me excited. I went to my first Lego convention last year.
Nice. Which one did you go to?
The Brick Fair, Virginia Lego convention. And I
actually
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who went to that.
You know somebody who went to that?
Was that the one where they had the massive Vader's castle, and at the end he pushed it into the So Cool Guy Dom was there. If you know, Cool Guy Dom is Well, he's one of the coolest Lego TikTokers going. But he was there and recorded it and all that. So
Yeah, I was there, right front row. We watched that. That was cool. But it was a super, super fun experience. And it did help me get to, branch out and meet a lot of people. So I plan on going to that again this year. And what I had done, hi, Zane. What's up, bro? Here's my nephew. We had actually worked on a larger scale mock. I'd say like 2 48 by 48 base plates wide. And that was like the first larger scale thing that any of us had ever really built before. So we definitely want to go back and do a couple more bigger builds. And I think the convention idea of being able to go and take your mock and display it there is a really good way to work on, your mock building skills and have a goal and something that you're, building up towards. And, is that your Lego minifigure that you made? He's got his tiger torso. He's playing with that yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool to have a goal in mind like that. So I got a couple ideas for bigger mocks, and I think that would help further this pursuit.
Indeed. So this is a nice segue into mock building. But for everybody watching, I'm just going to flash this up.
Yeah, good idea.
We're going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett now, and I would imagine we'll be talking about kind of all the recent episodes, the most recent episodes as well. So if you haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett and you don't want anything spoiled, by the way, if you're here, you haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett and you've made it this far without seeing spoilers, very well done to you. But we're going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett now because danibob does some brilliant work on it. But this is your final warning. Go on mute or whatever you need to do. But when this disappears, we've stopped talking about it. So go from there.
Yeah, that's right. What he said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But one thing, so we see on your Instagram page is kind of after each episode of the Book of Boba Fett, you have been making the mocks of kind of something from that episode, which I absolutely love. And it's one of those things I say and I think, yeah, I should do that. But again, it's like nah, I'll wait for them to release the set. But have you always done that? Or is this the first kind of media where you thought, okay, I'm going to build a set against it?
Yeah, no, this is super new. It's cool when you're led by inspiration because then you have like a real interest and you're not just doing it for content. And after watching that first episode, I was just so like excited because I loved Mandalorian season 1 and 2. And we got the family together. We got like the Mandalorian hoodies. We were having watch parties together. And I watched Star Wars Theory. And if you know Theory, like he does the watch parties and stuff too. So I love building hype around things. It just makes it so much more enjoyable. So I'm totally bought into the hype of the Star Wars shows. And after the second episode, actually, I was like, okay, I got to do this. And I figured if I wait a week, usually Star Wars posts stuff on Instagram. And if they're posting it and you follow Star Wars or people who do Star Wars content, I don't think that it's going to like spoil. So if I do a mock based on this thing, like you probably will have seen some snippet of it in a trailer or something that it's not going to completely like ruin it for you. That's my hope, at least. So hence the spoiler warning thing. Cause I did also want to talk about the show and, give a little bit of reaction, what I thought of this or what I thought of that. And so the thought behind the series is, okay, I'm really into it. Let's use this opportunity to build something from the show, because then it will force me to actually, try to design it after what it looked like and not just like a completely different take on it. And, oh, it turned out like this. And that's totally what I was going for, but actually take the picture and try to make something that looks like it. So doing it then a week after.
Do you have a favorite one so far?
A favorite episode so far?
No, a favorite one of the mocks that you've made is the one that you're particularly more proud of than the others?
Honestly, the one that I just did with the landscape of the Kenton Striders getting blown up by the Slave One, I like that because it's larger scale and it forced me to use a ton of pieces, which I hate doing because I'm going to run out of pieces. So it's part of the build experience too, not just the way that it turns out in the end, but I actually enjoyed the way that it turned out in the end. And trying to make something look like it's in motion or exploding, and like, okay, I'm gonna need to work on these things, but this is my starting point and I'm proud of this. So yeah, the one that I just did is the speeder bikes with the slave one swooping down and and it was pretty epic scene.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it stole that episode. I think it was a
Yeah.
great scene in that. But yeah, and just I'll kind of put this out at the end as I always do. But if you want to check that out, Lego Danny Bob's Instagram is linked in the description below, so you're welcome to do that.
Sweet.
Obviously, do it after the stream. We don't want to lose you right now. So like,
Yeah,
it's
don't
in
leave.
that. So when have you done your episode 5 mock yet?
No, I haven't even gotten started on it because I'm doing a week after. So it gives me a week to see the episode, build something from it, and then actually make the video on it. And of course, by then, I'll have already seen the next episode. So I can be thinking about it, but I generally don't really start working on it until later. So I haven't actually started on it. I have a couple of ideas.
I was going to say, so without telling us, do you know what you're going for? Because I think what I've seen more generally is everybody's doing the N1 Starfighter.
Everybody. Yeah.
So then I then think of you, especially with your delay and kind of the work that you're doing. You're probably my insight into you would be, yeah, it's done. Like it's just that, you know, so I think potentially you're looking at something that nobody else is thinking about. So I'm kind of intrigued.
Yeah. I enjoy so like when I did that Tuscan workshop scene from episode 2, it was a close-up shot. It was really focused on the details and ended up being a small vignette little scene. And I find that sometimes size does not matter, but the details in that moment that you capture is really where the emotional response comes from. And I got like a lot of good feedback on that as well. So I find that if you can capture those moments, and obviously having the right minifigures really helps. So I have the figures for this, and yeah, more of one of the moments in episode 5 where 2 particular figures are having an interaction in a totally different setting where maybe there's not sand in the background or something. So I'd still like to do an N1 Starfighter, but a different take on it. Of course, everyone's mocks are a little bit different, and there's some really, really fantastic ones out there that I know I can't compete with, but you know, you could still do something from that. In fact, Studsidious did a mock with kind of a junkyard area with Pelimoto and some Jawas. So even though it's like it's inspired from that, but it's maybe like behind the scenes, that kind of thing is cool too. So yeah, just like getting those interactions.
Can I just see, because nobody's talking about this, is it weird that Pelimoto dated a Jawa?
It's super weird. No, but it seems like something that her character would do because she's just
it was more just the moment when she said that's what she done. I was like, okay, but then she said, yeah, they're kind of furry, and you're like, well, yeah, that's kind of weird. But yeah, like I didn't need to know that, but please tell me more. Yeah, that was kind of weird. But
I heard that was actually improvised.
Oh, really?
Which makes it even better.
It does, because I think it is. I don't know if it's canon, but there is some Star Wars media somewhere that kind of has Jawas as being somewhat rat-like. Now, I don't know if that's in canon or legends, but yeah, if she kind of pulled that out the bag, then brilliant.
Well, there was a couple things like that in this episode. First, with the armorer going through the history of the Darksaber and talking about this prophecy that the one who rides the legendary mythosaur will lead us all, referring to the non-canon holiday special, and then says, but that's only in legends. And I just cracked up to myself because I'm like, did she just canonize a legend, or did she confirm that it's legends material?
Yeah, exactly. It was almost like breaking the fourth wall. She was
I know.
doing a YouTube review of herself. That was brilliant. Yeah, I picked up on that. I thought that was a brilliant little touch to talk about the concept of legends. But yeah, it was a great episode though. Okay, so let's talk about the episode itself, and then we'll go into the broader series. But how did you enjoy the episode, and how did you
Yeah.
enjoy it as part of the Book of Boba Fett series?
Oh man, it's so good. I really like what they're doing with this show because it's so unexpected from what we thought. Oh, we're gonna get this, this badass bounty hunter. He's gonna go do what Mando did times 10, and we're gonna get to see this legendary person. And it's like totally not that at all. It's like, oh, he's in a different season of life, so he's doing things differently than what we expected. And now there's an episode where he's not even in it. So I could see why some people might not react to it in the same way that I did. But I was loving that episode. First of all, I stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch it. So it just kind of worked out. And the whole time I just felt like, this is Star Wars. Like this is just so interesting. It was so filled with lore. And, as he's going to the ring planet and finding the covert and then reunites with them, somehow the armorer just knows all of this history, knows about the Darksaber. And then you have that the jealousy moment between Paz Vizsla thinking, oh, you have this Darksaber, but it was forged by my ancestors. I think that belongs to me. And then finding out like, what the heck? They can't even wield it. Neither of them can wield it. It's really mysterious. And that just makes you wonder, what is it? And you want to know. And then just as soon as he was reunited with the covert, he gets kicked out. And you're like, oh my gosh. In that moment, when that tension that built up, when she asks him, have you removed your helmet? And you're just like, crap, is he going to lie? What's he going to do? And okay, so now he's on another quest, and it just takes you back to that classic Mandalorian video game feel where, okay, you go into the story, the part that moves the story forward, and you have the dialogue with the other character, sends you on your next quest. So I kind of like that with Mandalorian. That's what you're going to get. You got this guy who's on a quest, and it's like you're going on these missions and stuff. So much happened, and a lot of questions would have been like, okay, well, where's Grogu? Does he miss Grogu? And he's like, obviously wanted to go visit Grogu. And it looks like he maybe made some chainmail and stuff for Grogu. So like, we're going to see Grogu. It seems like that's where we're going with this. And you're like, how can this be in the Book of Boba? But then it's like, actually, it's really important that you have the proper character build up when you're putting them in other people's shows so that it doesn't seem like you're just throwing them in other people's shows.
Yeah. I think that was the big question, wasn't it? Like after episode 4, when we heard the kind of Mandalorian horn and everybody's like, that's it, Mando's back next week. My concern there was like, well, how are they going to do this? And then like, what's the situation with the Darksaber? And like, I still raise the question is, why is Bo-Katan not kind of 5 minutes behind him saying like, give me the Darksaber, I want the Darksaber, I'll fight you for it. Like, so, and I'm interested to see where after they left off, kind of how they play this week's episode with Grogu. Do they do that, or do they leave that for Mandalorian season 3? Like, but yeah, it's an interesting one because my biggest trouble with it, more than anything, was it showed like I'm really enjoying the Book of Boba Fett, but it just shows how good the Mandalorian was. Now, if I was a pessimist, I would say how poor, like how not good the Book of Boba Fett is compared to the Mandalorian. That. But as an optimist, I say, look, the Book of Boba Fett is here, the Mandalorian is up here. Like nothing is. Go through all the Marvel stuff, I don't care. Nothing has touched the Mandalorian, and it's kind of quality wise, and that's the way you have to look at it. I think moving forward, we've got 2 episodes left. I just hope the pacing is. I hope they don't dip now. I hope it's just like boom, like right, let's start. They're all lined up, and we go to war for 2 episodes now.
Yeah, my worry from episode 4 when they did cue in the Mandalorian theme song was, are they even going to have the battle in this show? I feel like the battle's going to happen in the Mandalorian season 3, because this is really important to set the scene for the political atmosphere for all the different syndicates, or not even syndicates, but the families. Oh gosh, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. If they do it again, I'm going to put myself. Oh. So apparently the niece and nephew are here. This is what happens when you're an aunt and these things just happen.
It's a Lego stream. We know how it works.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I guess we are talking about Lego, aren't we?
Lego, kids, goes hand in hand, right?
It does.
Cool.
They are
Don't
attracted
worry about
to this room as well. They're so loud. Oh my gosh.
It's fine.
Okay. Well, anyways. So what was I saying? The Mando.
Yeah, about the big battle and time and
Yeah.
how are they going to do
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So I was like, are they even going to have the big battle in the end? Because it does seem like the characters that they're seeding in do have quite a bit of involvement with Boba. So you got Black Chrysanthemum. They've already had some tension, and there's already been a moment of redemption where it makes sense for Chrysanthemum to actually work for Boba. And then it makes sense for Mando to actually come in because they had that previous encounter. So if they were to bring in other characters, like a lot of people speculated that Bosk or Cad Bane could be in the show, which I would love. That'd be sick, especially Cad Bane. What kind of interactions are they going to have? So yeah, I'm not really sure like what's going to end up as the finale for the show.
And do you know, this is why I love the Disney Plus stuff, because especially with the shows, there are no leaks. Like nobody has a clue what's going on.
It's so true.
And I love that. You know, I was speaking to Sai about and Greg about this a couple of weeks ago, like before it started and after we got the trailer. And I was saying, like, look, I don't believe that the trailer is going to represent this show at all. We probably find in episode 1, 80% of the trailer is done, and that was pretty much the keys. And I love that because that's what they've done with both series of The Mandalorian. So I've got no idea where it's going.
I know.
I think they'd be wrong to bring Cad Bane in. I think the opportunity to bring Cad Bane in is gone because the back to tank scenes have gone.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I do think Bosk, brilliant. I want to see Bosk, but he has to be on the Pikes. He cannot work with Black Chrysanthemum because they hate each
that wouldn't
other.
work. No.
And I just hope they don't. They've got a little bit of history of retconning comic books that are canon that don't become canon.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that because obviously the Trandoshan Wookiee rivalry is like as deep rooted as anything in Star Wars. So.
Very much. Yeah, very much. Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of comics too, did you notice the Crimson Reign comics that just came out in January and the second issue drops in 4 days? The Crimson Reign comics are about Kira leading Crimson Dawn, and it's just very timely. And everyone's speculating that the Pikes and Crimson Dawn and there's a connection and that they're going to be involved. And are we going to see Kira and stuff? What have you heard about that? What's your take on that?
So I'm currently reading War of the Bounty Hunters, but I read it on Marvel Unlimited, which is the app. So they tend to be a little bit behind, like the paper release. I'm a little bit behind myself. I'm up to the part where they go. So Kira has Han and tries to auction him off. And then Vader comes in and kind of says, I'll take him. So Boba doesn't have him. So Afra's there with Leia.
Yeah.
And then the Pikes are there. The Hutts are there. Because Jabba the Hutt puts a bounty out on Boba. Boba chops Bosk's legs off. So that's kind of where I'm at. But obviously Kira is leading Crimson Dawn at this point. And I think from the Book of Boba Fett with the biker gang, the symbol they keep spraying is very close to the Crimson Dawn symbol.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's that's 100% because it haven't they confirmed that Emilia Clarke is getting her own series, but they haven't confirmed what that series is.
I heard something about that. I always tend to be cautious about what they say is confirmed and not. And also, like, I don't totally want to be spoiled, but I like to be in the know. So there's like this very fine line that I like to ride. Because with Star Wars, I actually read the comics. Marvel, I don't. So when the show happens, I have no clue what's going to happen next. So yeah, I'm always like, oh, where do I stand on this? Like, should I look into it more? Should I not and just be surprised?
Well, I mean, the good thing is there's nothing that kind of gives it away, is there? Where I think with the Marvel stuff, they take a lot of inspiration from, because with Marvel, the Marvel characters, there's so many different versions and their stories being told so many times, and they kind of pull stuff together. Whereas with Star Wars, they're pretty much telling the story for the first time. but they're building on stuff that has kind of happened. So yeah, I love it. Like, I hate spoilers, but I always want to, exactly the same. Like, I need to know. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, like, what's
Yeah.
going to happen? And that's the only thing I would say about the Book of Boba Fett. Black Chrysanthemum's reveal was brilliant. The first reveal when the Hutts came in, that was probably the only time where I've kind of, an episode is finished and my immediate thought is, I need to see next week's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a little bit with the Mandalorian thing, like with the horn after episode 4, but I had a bit of trepidation because I was thinking, I hope they get this right. Of course they got it right. It was epic. And it was great to see actually someone, and this is the most sadistic thing I'll probably ever say, but it was great to see someone actually carved up. Yeah. You never see people getting sliced up. Like, the lightsabers bounce off them usually. Like, when people get hit with a lightsaber, it bounces off them, they get a scorch and they die. This was like, gutted.
Someone's getting sliced up downstairs.
Yeah, someone's got the dark saber downstairs.
Yikes. Yeah, hopefully they're okay. No, because I even was having an issue with that when Black Chrysanthemum comes into Boba's room and they're fighting each other, and he like stabs him with the gaffy stick twice, but there's no blood. He bites his hand, but there's no blood. And I was like, is the Bacta that effective? I don't know, because there's absolutely no blood, no gore. When Obi-Wan chopped off what's his name in the cantina in episode 4, there was blood on his arm. It's like, it's not against the rules for there to be blood in Star Wars. So I was like, to see somebody finally get sliced in half was like, I don't know why. It was almost as refreshing as I've been playing Battlefront 2 on PC, and there's a glitch going around right now where you can't die. I was like playing last night, and me and my brother were like, I died. It works. The game works. The game works. I've never been so happy to die, and I've never been so happy to see someone get sliced in half. It's just crazy.
Is that the original one or the newer one?
The newer one, the 2017 Battlefront.
Yeah. Awesome game. It's such a shame that they pulled the server support on that.
I know. And then all of a sudden these hackers take over the service. Not the service. They take over the game. So this one HP glitch has been plaguing the game where more than 50% of the time you'll get put into a match where no one can die because everyone's stuck at 1 HP or higher.
All right. So, okay.
Then you have to exit and try again. So
that's
I don't know. But I love the game. It's still so much fun when it works. And I'm looking forward to all the other Star Wars games that are currently in the works.
Yeah, I keep seeing this. There's really been no better time to be a Star Wars fan. And some people complain and like, oh, Disney and all that. Like, seriously, I was born in 85. Star Wars was done for 2 years before, like, when I was born. Like, I grew up thinking that was it. I wasn't getting anything. It's good. Trust me.
It's crazy.
Is there a particular, because the good thing about Star Wars games and what we know about what's developed and kind of what we've had drip fed over the years, there are the different games are all very different. So we've got Lego Star Wars coming out, Jedi Fallen Order, we're probably going to get the second one of that. Eclipse that we don't really know a lot about, but looks awesome. Like, is there a particular, if you could only get one of these games or one type of Star
Jedi
Wars
Fallen
game,
Order. Yeah, for sure. Jedi Fallen Order is just so sick because I've always loved action adventure games that have a specific role, like a role-playing character, and you're going through a storyline, but not so limited that it's a linear game where you do get to have a lot of side missions and additional play hours, right? So it's like the perfect mix of that in the Star Wars universe. The closest thing that ever came to it was Force Unleashed, and that was still a little linear, you know? And it was very non-canon. Like, I remember playing it and being so confused. Who's this guy? Vader never had this on.
Pulling a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
No, it was like
awesome as it was.
It was, for me, I thought it was like just a little bit too good. And I was a little bit like thrown off by it. I was also a younger teenager at the time too. So I was playing it thinking like, I don't really know what's happening. And maybe that's because I just don't know that much about Star Wars. I don't know. So that game just blew my mind because it's just really well done. The fighting mechanics are legit. You actually have to parry and time and stuff. You can't just, as fun as the Lego games are, you can't just button mash, which then brings me to the next game, the Star Wars Skywalker Saga. It's not a button masher. They took away the button mashing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal that you have a skill-based aiming system.
It looks like for the first time, whereas in the past they've just built and built and built and built. It almost as
Mm,
if they've reset for this one, and it looks like that game because that's what
yeah,
Lego Star Wars looks like. But this is like, nah, this is a whole new game, and I
yeah.
think the world. I think it's fair to say April is going to be a very unproductive time for Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I'm going to be very preoccupied. There's going to be no content on the channels. If anything, people will be streaming the gameplay, and that's it.
Yeah, I need to. So I mean, I'm a casual gamer at best, but I do enjoy my gaming. But I just play Xbox, but
Yeah.
it's a nightmare. Like Xbox is because I then have a Mac, so I can't
Okay.
cast and all of that. So I need to
Oh,
invest in an Elgato to do it. But
yeah.
yeah,
It's
painful.
120 for the Elgato H60s.
That one, yeah, I'm going to take that off
Uh-huh.
now. I'll put that there.
You just
But
got to get your streaming PC set up. Well, you can stream through Mac though, I think.
yeah, I can. It's just that they're very incompatible, and the Elgato is the only thing that brings them together to give that whole experience. But
Oh,
I
okay, that
think
might be a different model.
feels worthwhile. Feels
Yeah.
worthwhile. But yeah, I'm guessing then on that case, you fangirled right out when you saw BD, well, a BD unit on The Mandalorian.
That's what this is.
Ah, okay, nice.
Yep. Little insider scoop there. I purchased some pieces for a rebrickable mock of BD1, planning to make sure I have all the parts for it. And I haven't decided when I'm going to build it. If I want to, yeah, like we talked earlier, should I build stuff that's a non-Lego set on a YouTube stream or do it on a different platform? But yeah, I love BD1. Like, there's a lot of different types of droids. And in the original trilogy, you really got like 3 main droid types: your astromech, your protocol droid, and maybe like a treadwall or something a little bit different. And since the sequels came out and introduced like the BB units and DO, it was like roly polies. They're kind of cute, but then like, are they Star Wars? Have they been around? For some reason, BD, that model just seems like so Star Wars. And I was so
Yeah,
thrilled that they put it in the show, because if there's any new droid that they've introduced into Star Wars that feels like Star Wars, it's got to be this guy. And
yeah,
plus, he's cute. Like they did the little dee 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 dee. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
okay, kill me. All
I
right, here, take my money.
I've managed to get a screen record of him doing that. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but whenever I drop that on a video, it will do well because it's just
Yeah.
it's he's cool. Do you know? So being a Jedi Fallen Order fan, and this is quite
Yeah.
common, but how much does it suck that we've never had a Fallen Order run from Lego?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. People ask me what Lego minifigure I wish we could have, and my 2 choices were Cal Kestis and probably like Clone Trooper 5s or something. And the whole argument, I don't know if Lego has recently made a statement on this, but I know previously the argument was that it's too violent or something. I just watched Stranger Things, and there's a Lego set about Stranger Things, and you're telling me that show's not too violent? They literally get eaten by like demonic plant beings. Like, it's kind of scary. And there's a Lego set. Just because there's kids in the show doesn't make it kid friendly. And the whole idea with the video games and crossovers, and apparently this, Overwatch set that was
Mhm.
canceled because of the company. It just seems like, there's never really going to be a rationale that you can follow all the way through. It's very much pick and choose based on the business partners. So whatever the deal was, they couldn't make one, and they couldn't make the Lego version of the game, which leaves a lot of room for mock builders, I guess. And my favorite that I've seen so far, somebody did a really good mock of Bogano, which is that kind of grassy planet.
Yeah,
It's got those little hopping
Bogdo.
animals. Yeah, the big frog. Oh my gosh, I died like 18 times trying to beat him and
Yeah.
only realized like you don't actually have to beat him to progress in the level. It's just a
Mhm.
side thing. Oh, so funny. And then you find only the same thing on YouTube, somebody trying to do the exact same thing and shows their 18 deaths until they finally kill him. And you're like, oh my God, I can relate so much to that. It's hilarious.
He does have the little chest behind. I mean, you can drop in from the roof, can't you? You can drop in
Yeah,
at
you can do
when
the
you.
overhead
Yeah,
slash.
But I think you can get to the chest, unlock what it is, and then get out if you come in through the roof, but you can't do it if you come
Oh,
in through the door. So,
no, I
yeah.
always just tried to go for the kill. Yeah, I played it until I beat him, and it took me a lot of tries. And
All
also
worth
you're
it.
new, so you don't have, like, the parry timing down yet,
Mhm.
so that's
Yeah,
tough.
because it's quite early in the game, isn't he? But
Mhm,
yeah, I think I absolutely loved it. My only critique of it really was when you complete the game,
mhm.
you get that kind of plus version where you can play in the Inquisitor's outfit, which obviously just looks cool, but
Yeah,
they reset the abilities, but all of the chests remain open. So you
mhm.
kind of have to like delete the game and come back in as like a clean start. I didn't like that. I didn't find it very replayable. Um,
Yeah,
and then the lack of an online feature. I feel like it was just brilliant game to do an online feature of.
yeah, yeah, and I would give the benefit of the doubt of the first one being like that, and
Mhm.
then hopefully being able to expand on it because, like, we haven't had a Star Wars role-playing game where you go through as as a linear leveling experience since yeah, literally, like, Force Unleashed was the last time
Force
we had a game
Unleashed,
like
yeah.
that. That wasn't a
And
online massive multiplayer game or
yeah.
something.
And I think exactly that, and I do agree. And I'm almost sometimes critical of games that focus on the online. Like I love a story game, so
Mhm.
I would definitely have took the story game over it being sacrificed to give more online functionality. So I'll kind of retract a little bit what I've said, and as long as they build on it. But the fact that it's canon as well, like that's awesome. Like the
Yeah.
you don't get that. So yeah, it's
That's super cool. Yeah, and there was some speculation because that BD unit was in the Book of Boba, like, "Oh, are we gonna see" the spoiler banner's gone,
yeah,
but I don't think this is too much of a spoiler,
yeah,
but yeah, like,
yeah.
would we see crossover? Because he's a canon character from the video game, so will he appear in live action is really the question about
Mhm.
that. So, I was like, "Oh, yeah, we don't get to see many canon games." Even, Battlefront's campaign, Battlefront 2,
Yeah,
the Inferno Squad, like, that's canon,
yeah.
and, Lego made the Inferno Squad,
Yeah,
and
like that
it's the
game has
same.
Operation Cinder in it, which like basically obliterates planets, and that's not too
Yup,
violent. Yeah.
yeah, and it's the same, like, graphics level because that's the other thing is, oh, is there blood and gore? Is there graphics level where like, I remember playing as a kid, if the game wasn't cartoony enough, it was a bit intense, and
Mhm.
so it's the same graphics level as, like, Fallen Order in terms of the realism and, the fighting sequences, and that's why I say there's no linear logical argument
Yeah,
to it's a business relationship, and it's how Lego, is able to navigate with the different gaming companies, what they're gonna make, and how much money they're gonna make off of it. It's a company.
yeah. Also, if you've ever played Ewok Hunt,
Oh my
like
gosh.
that is
100%.
like that's like Friday Night at Freddy's. Like it's terrifying. Like level.
Mhm.
Like when you're the stormtrooper and you're like, right, don't let the battery run out. You hear the horn, like it's brilliant. It's a great
Oh,
streaming game to just. I probably played more of that when I had my Twitch channel. Probably played more of that where like 10 of us would jump on because it's all randomly allocated, like who's starting off as the Ewoks, and
yeah.
then you just see people's flashlights go, and you're like, right, okay, let's
You're
get
just
them.
like,
It's a brilliant game. Yeah,
that's, yeah. That's basically a stream where all you do is max out your limiter on your microphone the entire
yeah,
That's good fun, though.
awesome game, awesome game. I think we did like forfeits as well, where like if you screamed,
Oh,
people had like
no.
somewhat the first person to scream had to drop a Lego set on TikTok, had to do a video and be like, "This is my forfeit for screaming on Battlefront 2." But because it
Oh,
was
that's
all on my
funny.
Twitch, people were going on and clipping it and making the whole
Mhm.
thing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's super
That's a good
fun.
way that things cross over. But
Yeah.
guys, absolutely flown over here. We've hit that hour and a half mark, so we're going to start
Mhm.
wrapping up soon. But if you have any questions, now's the time to drop them in the chat, and we'll seek to address them. But Dani, what's kind of the future? Like, what do you have planned going forward? Like, what's kind of, even if we're just seeing the next couple of weeks and months, or even this year, kind of what are your plans? Both kind of from a creator perspective, what have you got your eye on Lego wise? Is there anything you
Yeah.
don't have that you're thinking like, I need that in my life?
Oh, yeah. So, right now, doing the short-term stuff first, Couple of build and reviews, a couple of shopping hauls. These are kind of the general videos that come out on a regular basis. Going with the theme of the current Star Wars content that's coming out is pretty much the flow of the different set reviews that are going to be coming out. And obviously the shopping hauls for every time there's new set releases for Star Wars especially. But I like to get my hands on a few other things. Like March 1st, we have some Harry Potter sets coming out. So I'll probably do a week where we do a lot of Harry Potter stuff. So very thematic. As for the next couple of months, we're looking at preparation for some conventions. So Brick World Chicago is happening June 16 to 19. I plan on going to that. Sorry. oh boy. Okay. Sorry. And then shortly after that is Brick Fair, Virginia, which took place the end of July last year. So I'd imagine it's going to be about the same time this year again, although it's not been announced. So inevitably there should be some talk of building a bigger mock and getting started on that and acquiring the pieces. Because last year I kept it pretty quiet. Like we didn't know what we were doing. Let's just try to figure this out and see what happens. This year, I think I'll talk about it a lot more. So longer term, the next few months, you'll see even more mock building stuff on the channel. But you'll definitely be seeing crazy amounts of Kenobi, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Endor, whatever it is. Like, I'll definitely be on it and anything that comes out.
So that's a good question then, actually, because we are getting, I mean, we don't know what we're getting when, but we know what we are going to get. Is there a particular one of those shows that you are looking forward to more than the others?
Well, okay. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Kenobi show the most because it's just like, I feel the pinnacle of all Star Wars content that could possibly come out right now. But I'm very intrigued by the Endor show because I feel like Rogue One, it did the story so well. It's definitely my favorite Star Wars movie. And I feel like if they have a similar vibe on that, it might become like the next best show. Like Mandalorian season 3, I feel like the standards are so high. We're already expecting it to be amazing. And so, what next show is going to be right up there with it? Because, the Kenobi show is only supposed to be one season, as far as I know. Like that's going to be a big banger. It's going to be a big hit, and it's going to be awesome for that time. But then, like, I wonder if the Endor show could carry on depending on when it takes place. I'm not really sure. So I'm very intrigued by the Endor show, actually. So yeah,
it's a really good point, actually, about Andor, because there is little expectation about it when there are so many big, like, headlining shows coming out. Nobody's talking about Andor, but like when people talk about it, people are like, yeah, it's all right. Like we'll see. But I think the one thing that typically happens in the Star Wars fandom is people overhype expectations, and the things that we don't have those high, and we're seeing that with the Book of Boba Fett. People are like, oh, it's not that good, but it's because they have in their head what this show should have been, what this character should have been, so they fail to see what it is, or they struggle to see what it is. But I think with The Mandalorian, nobody knew what The Mandalorian was, like, or who he was. Andor, yes, we know kind of who he is, but we don't really know who he is. So again, the expectation is low, so hopefully the payoff is high. But yeah, Kenobi, like we just want Kenobi, right? They have to release it May the 4th. Like they have to.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think May the 4th's a Wednesday as well, isn't it? I feel like it's a Wednesday. I might be wrong on that. Because I feel like May the 1st is a Sunday. If I'm right on that.
Yeah, May 4th is Wednesday.
So there you go. Disney have said all new releases will come out on a Wednesday since the success of Loki. So that's my prediction. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's like we need it. We need a trailer. Just give us a trailer, please.
I know, right?
It's
long overdue.
What about TikTok side of things? Do you have a plan, or is it on hold for now? Can we expect to see you posting online?
Yeah, I feel like, when I get in the mood for it, then I'll, hop back on the app and play around for a bit, and kind of just depends a little bit on how I'm feeling, because that's going to be what I
Mhm.
put my effort into, and then from there, a plan inevitably gets formed. I'm pretty like schedule oriented. I'm a planner, so I like to think
Mhm.
about what's going to come next and where it can go. So I do kind of want to try out a few things with YouTube Shorts first. So I don't have like an immediate idea, like, oh, I'm going to get on TikTok in like a month or something. It might be a few months. So
Well, we
we'll
look
see.
forward to that. I look forward to that, but
I
you have a.
know.
It's not like we're not going to see you because you have a hell of a presence elsewhere as well. So you're doing all
Thank you.
right. We can people if people want to
Thank
see
you.
you, they can certainly see you. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so yes. To reiterate, by the way, I say this to everyone. I think I said this to Sai. So you need a beacons or a link tree because
I need.
I like a. Do you know where you can just put all your links within one page?
Oh yeah, yeah. I link my Instagram to YouTube videos, and I
Yeah,
think I have my YouTube link in my Insta bio.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
you mean
put
like
a
having
TikTok. Put a TikToks out in the wilderness. Just it's like obviously like a single link, isn't it? Whereby
So you want me
people
to
can.
promote TikTok and be on TikTok? All right,
No,
I'll consider
I just
it.
want people to be able to click on a link and they can see everywhere they can find Lego Danny Bob.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
And for people like me, I want to do everybody justice. So I've linked in the description below. I've linked to your Instagram, I've linked to your YouTube, and I've
Thank
linked
you.
your TikTok. But if you had a link tree or a beacons, it's just one copy and paste job. So yeah.
I gotcha. I'll take that
So,
feedback and I'll put it into practice. Thank you.
but yeah,
Okay.
it's from on behalf of the rest of the community, we thank you for that. So yeah, thank you for
Good stuff.
that.
Good stuff.
But yeah, guys, as I say that, if you're not already following Lego Danny Bob, I mean, you will see I've tagged her on my YouTube, on my Instagram story right now. She tagged in my most recent TikTok video, but all the links are below, so certainly go check her out. But I definitely would say if from my experience, if you're a Book of Boba Fett fan or a Star Wars fan and you're currently watching the show, the Instagram for me is the place that, like, I love the visuals. And I think the great thing about Instagram is you forget the quality and the power of a picture. I think we put so much into moving content. A picture can say so much, and I do love that. And I do take about the smaller sets, like sometimes that smaller scene, and a great actual Lego set that articulates that for me is the Brawl Thor set, where it's just like him,
Yeah.
Korg, and Mick just like sat playing Xbox. It's
Yep.
like they got so much into like what can fit in the palm of my hand. So yeah, I totally feel you on that one. There you go, James. Oh, we didn't talk about the Rancor. So yes, you built your
Yeah.
Lego Rancor. But yeah, we're not going to talk about it because if you want to go and see the Lego Rancor, got to go and see it.
Hey.
How much time and effort did that put in for you?
A lot. Yeah, I spent several hours just trying to figure out how to attach the arms and legs. So it's a really good learning experience every time I try to build something. And you're always limited by what pieces you have as well and what
Mhm.
colors. So yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes you think around and you're not really trying to build something specific. So that's like several hours, everything takes hours, more than 4 hours. So all good and fun.
Yeah, it's time is always the issue for me more than
Mhm.
anything. So it is. But yeah, I don't know if you're still around, but say if you are. So I do a little thing at the end here whereby I ask the guest who they would either like to see on here in the future or like who they would
Ah,
nominate as a good person to speak to. And Sai came out with a list of about 27 people, but
I'm sure he did.
you were number one on that list. And
Oh, I
obviously
didn't know about that.
we already followed each other on Instagram and TikTok. So I was like, yeah, the stars have aligned on that one. But yeah, you were first on the list. So my question to you is and this is like as broad as you want to be, but who would you like to nominate or see on here?
Well, first, because I did click back and I was looking to see who you have had on the show for a while, and a couple of people that I know have been on the show already. So that kind of narrows down the selection of who I know. But some of the other people that I've been connected with on YouTube is, the plastic architect, Claire. I'm not sure if you've talked to her before, but
No.
I was actually with her and Shy Time is My Time, Shy. Her and Shy and Ninja Bricks, they do a podcast called Cali Brick Clicks. And I was actually over on their podcast a couple months back, and they entertained some great Lego conversations. And, their conversations can definitely become broader about life and being a Lego YouTuber and such and everything. So they have really good conversations. So I would check out, if you haven't already had Shy on the show, or plastic architect Claire. Sans is sometimes in the background there too, and who knows what's gonna come out of his mouth, right? So yeah, there's a good group. And probably also like Lauren, Brightest Witch Bricks. She is a
Yeah.
big Harry Potter fan. So I'm not sure if you've had all these people on your show before and I'm just giving you duplicates.
No.
Those are the folks that I feel like are super keen to join podcasts and talk about Lego.
Well, this is what I mean. We all do this for a reason. We just want to talk. That's why we love doing this. But yeah, if you don't mind, I'll get those if you can send me them on Instagram with their like tags, and then I'll see if I follow them, and then I will do that. But yeah, I'm always keen to just speak to anybody who wants to speak to me, really. So because I feel like as well, because of where I've come from, and obviously my initial community and my initial people to reach out to were TikTok. So I've had a lot of TikTokers on, but I don't want it just to be Lego TikTokers. I want certainly Lego YouTubers and Instagram. So speaking to the likes of you and Sai, I get exposed to more people who I might not have come across before. So, so yeah, I will. Like, great to do that, and I can put them all on the list and do that because I ain't going anywhere.
Oh, and like Greg from London Bridge Bricks, he really likes to talk too. In fact, he has a master class on how to nail your intro and outro in one take. One take.
He does watch, so I'm sure a comment will. I don't think he's watching right now, but a comment will be in this video. If you check, probably in the next 48 hours, he will. He'll pick that up. But yeah, Greg is, I think we've got lined up for the beginning of March. We do have a date. So he's quite difficult to pin down because of his schedule and all that. But yes, we do have Greg coming on. And I'm looking forward to it. And I've been on London Calling, which is a great show. Because again, it's because of the way that I came in through TikTok, the community I was involved with was very much the American community, which is great and great community. But I'm kind of like the only Brit of part of that community now. Others have kind of caught up, and yeah, we're building it's nice to speak to your own kind sometimes, isn't it? So
I get you. Good stuff.
But indeed, Dani Bob, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Yeah,
a pleasure to chat. I feel like we could just sit here and talk about more Star Wars stuff for hours, but that's how we want it. We have to get a reason to get people back and to continue the conversation. But yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure. And if you do ever kind of think, right, okay, the time is now to go hard on TikTok, and you want some tips,
I will be there. I will let you know.
Let us know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I will do it live.
But for all you guys who've tuned in and stuck with this, it has been, as always, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you in the chat and keep us active and keep prodding us to talk about things. As always, my link tree is below. So if you are not following, feel free to kind of just drop in there and you'll see my Instagram here and TikTok. And Lego Dani Bob's 3 different links are linked separately below. So yeah, on that note, okay, Lego Dani Bob, here's the thing. If you ever go live on TikTok, this is the closing thought. If you ever go live on TikTok and Spawn drops in, you know you've made it on Lego TikTok, because Spawn is the no, we know nothing about Spawn, and I say this every week. We know nothing about them other than they're Danish. That's all we know. So they're from the home of Lego, and we know nothing about them, but they managed to get into everybody's live. They are super kind, super generous, and just super knowledgeable as well. So if you ever see Spawn pop up, you know you've made it on Lego TikTok. That's for sure.
Dope. All right.
And on that note, I will bid you all a good night. Enjoy the rest of or a good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, your weekend. And yeah, it's February on Tuesday. People, let that sink in. It was like Christmas 2 minutes ago. So we're doing advent calendars. But until the next time, everyone, peace, love to all.
See ya.